Hi everyone, just going live to give you a kind of roundup of my day and discuss what's happened today, as well as kind of I've got some other bits that I want to talk about. So, as some of you may be aware, this morning I was working with my local, with my church, Central Vineyard, and I will post their link in a second for you. And what we were doing, we were giving out Central Vineyard, and we were giving out bottles of water to the runners of the marathon, which was really, really good. Some of the runners were really quick. I think the fastest came through our point, and we were about 3 miles in, came through about, I think they said about 10-15 minutes. So that's really good. Hi Tristan, how are you? How's Go Live Granny? She's still there? So that was really good. And then I went over to the Northampton High School. Now, the Northampton High School is near Halston. So I thought she would be. So I was there helping out with the kids club. Hi Anne, how are you? So we were doing activities and running around mad with some of the children that were there. And basically there was a big kind of a church gathering, as it were, in the theatre there. So that was really, really good watching that. As well as then helping out with the kids. So the kids were playing games. We were playing with a big parachute, which is always really, really fun. I enjoy that. And then and I was kind of there for most of the morning / afternoon. Yes, I'm going to look at coming next week. I just need to make sure I'm not on rota for the kids club. So yeah, we were looking at kind of the parachute that we had, which was really quite fun. And I was kind of, so here's the link to the church. I was kind of thinking about kind of faith and your faith story and what you're doing. So a lot of people know that I am religious. I go to church most Sundays, but I've not always been religious because I think it's difficult to be religious and suffer with mental health, because you kind of question why God's doing it and all that. But essentially, I have a story in which I was travelling. I had a bit of an episode, and I won't go into the specifics, but I was travelling quite far. I'd walked, and I was on the in Newark, which is quite close to Lincoln. This was when I was up in Lincoln. So I was there, and I'd planned that this was the end, kind of all those kind of horrible things, and I'd walked myself on. I stood on the side of the train tracks, and there was someone came up to me and was talking to me, and we were having a chat, and then we came back. This person basically got me from this location and got me to safe and sound. And when I was sat on the benches back on the platform, I was talking to someone else. I think it might have been a train officer or someone, and they came over to me and they were talking about what had happened. And I said I'd done this, blah blah blah. I'd gone to the train, and that person stopped me, and they were like, "What person?" And I was like, the person that brought me back. And they were like, "James, you came back alone." And I've always believed that person was actually God, and that was Jesus supporting me and bringing me back to kind of where I needed to be and to safety. So since then, I've always been a spiritual, a religious person, in that I go to church most Sundays, and I've been members of a few churches around the country. So when I was in Lincoln, I was a member of a church. When I came back to Northampton, I was originally a member of a church, then I swapped over. And I've been going to church all the time now. So I think religion is really helpful in that it can support you when you feel alone. So there were times in uni and times kind of otherwise as well in professional life where I've needed a bit of guidance, and there have been times where I haven't had that many people. So I've prayed, I've read the Bible, and that has given me some kind of thought. Now, in today's service, what I love the most, I think, is the point of getting up, raising your hands and singing. I know you guys, Louisa, I know you have a very similar church from what I can tell online. So getting up and doing all that is really, really, really good for me, because it's about that kind of community. And as I mentioned yesterday or the day before, I've been to Spring Harvest a few times. For anyone that doesn't know what Spring Harvest is a big religious festival that happens every year in a variety of locations around the country. So I went when it was hi Rudy. I went when it was in Skegness, and I think it's in Skegness every year, but it's in different places as well now. So yeah, I know, I'm going live a lot. So I went to Spring Harvest. I hear Soul Survivor is great, and I hear Soul Survivor is very similar, but Spring Harvest was all about that community and going and being with that community. I mean, I did a lot of talking about, I talked to this guy that was a scientist, and people always assume that science and religion are kind of opposite sides of the spectrum and they don't get on. But if you look through history and you look at all the scientists that have come through, you will notice that a lot of scientists are religious. So it's not that they're separate. People always assume that they're completely different, they're separate, but they're not. A lot of science adds to religion, a lot of religion adds to science, and a lot of questions that religion can't answer, science can. They can work together. So Spring Harvest is, I'll put this in the thing if anyone wants to have a look. Spring Harvest was great. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking at kind of going again next year. And that was when I was that letter that I've got on my wall. So basically what happened was the guy that was kind of presenting stood up and said, this was my first year, and he stood up and said, right, who's new? Tell me who's new, and someone will come and pray for you. So I sat there thinking, at that time I was very, very nervous and I didn't want to do anything, but I decided no, so I stood up and you're thinking, this room is a big tent and there were thousands and hundreds and thousands of people there. So I stood up and there was people around me kind of engrossing me in their hands and support. And then this gentleman came over and gave me this letter. He introduced, on the letter he kind of introduces himself and what he kind of represents, and he says, well done for giving yourself, well done for giving yourself for Christ. And I think that's really, really important, and I believe that Christianity can support where a lot of things can't, and I would say that Christianity has kind of been the heart and the soul for me. I went to Spring Harvest with my family, so I believe I've been twice. So I went with my family one year, and I went with my entire family and my girlfriend at the time, in which was both times were great. We booked kind of a big place, and when I say family, I didn't just go with my direct family. I went with my nan and pap and people from that kind of area as well. So not just mum and dad. And so I noticed that Steve's just joined. Steve's the minister and the kind of lead pastor at the church that I go to. He's the one that runs Central Vineyard, which is where I've been today, and the link's up above if anyone wants to have a look. It's been announced today that they've just opened a new one in Wellingborough, so that's kind of the big new thing. Yes, shout out to Steve, definitely. Great guy, really community orientated and brilliant support and great for what Central Vineyard needs. Got a bit distracted there. Yeah, so Spring Harvest is brilliant. And I know that there are other ones, Soul Survivor, and I think there's New Wine as well, I think it's another one. But they're very, very similar in what their aim is to do. And kind of the big church day out today, which is where I was a kind of, I would say, a very kind of a small version of that on a day. Yes, 100% I am. Yeah. So I've had a good day. I've felt kind of involved in the community, helping with the bottles of water earlier, and the runners coming through and clapping them and supporting them, and just the dedication that it must take to do that, because you're talking 13 miles and you're talking around Northampton, so it's quite a long time. So a shout out to all the runners who took part in that. Brilliant. And they're all raising money for the separate charities. You've got one big charity in Northampton, which is the Hope Centre. I'll link them in. So the Hope Centre in Northampton is a homelessness charity who work closely with the homeless community in Northampton and support them, not just by giving a roof over the head, but supporting them with life skills, and they do a variety of things. They're the mayor's charity, so a lot of respect for the guys that work there, and I know someone on my LinkedIn was running for them, so brilliant. So that's them there. So I think in terms of charity is where it is, and I think we need to be looking at what you can do to support those charities locally. Anything else? And then that's pretty much all I've done today. So then I came home, and yeah, I did have a nap. But this afternoon I met a nice couple from church who we were talking about religion and stuff, which was really, really interesting. And all the kids today were great, lovely children, and the parents were great as well. And it's just that feeling of being in that group, being part of that community. And I think whatever your community may be, it may not be religion. Maybe that's not where you are. Maybe it's a community, an atheist community, or a local community centre or whatever. It doesn't have to be religious, but being part of that community is key. And even, I would say, a certain community, even a business community like NLCNN, which is kind of like a community as well, and the Go Live group as well, that's a community. So being part of those communities are brilliant, and I would recommend that. For me, obviously, that is religion, but a lot of people don't find it that way. But I can't remember the exact number, but there was a big number, and they said that's the amount of people in Northamptonshire that have not heard God. And it's not about going out and converting people and being aggressive and telling them they've got to be religious or whatever. It's about saying, look, there's more to religion than what you think it is. There's more to it. There's a support network there, and it's just coming together as that community. I am traditional in my views on kind of obviously. I think someone said you don't have to believe in God to be a Christian. I disagree. You do. So I think that's really important. And it's not just about Christianity. There are other religions that are fair play as well. There's obviously quite a big Muslim community in Northampton, as well as there's other communities, religious communities that pray out of Northampton, and we are quite a multicultural town, so I think that's important to kind of remember everyone. What else? Yeah, so day's been good. Really kind of made me feel like I was doing something good, because if you work Monday to Friday 9-5, and even if you love your job, it's still nice to go somewhere on a Sunday and it be a different community. And I'm going to start looking at some of the groups that they do, their local connect groups within the church. They do that, which means that you can go and meet similar people. I believe there's one for the youth as well. And they can be on all kinds of topics. There's marriage ones, there's I don't know, there's loads and loads and loads. So yeah, since kind of finishing uni, I've wanted to integrate myself into a religious community, and I think I've found that community now, which is really, really good. And that's obviously Central Vineyard, which I've posted the link. Yeah, it's the Go Live Granny Gang. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I know I'm doing a lot of these, but I'm kind of finding my feet now, and I'm really, really enjoying talking. I think it's nice to kind of get stuff off your chest and talk to your Facebook community, essentially. So yeah, and the friends that I've made recently in kind of people like Tristan and Louisa and Lynn, and Lynn is actually the name of my nan as well, so it gets a bit confusing, and all the people from the church and things. It's been nice to kind of support and talk to those people, so I'm really happy. This week got a busy week. My right hand man Alfie's not in tomorrow, so I've got to I'll be on my own tomorrow. I always find it a bit lonely when Alfie's not in. And then the rest of the week I'm just in the centre doing centre things. So I'm going to look at some promotional material that we can release and try and build up a kind of community for this big event that we've got coming. If anyone doesn't know, the event is, I shall send you the link. So it's a cocktail evening. So we're doing a group cocktail, so there'll be cocktails there and there'll be people talking as well. So if you haven't already, get online and book a ticket. We are charging for this event. Now the reason we're charging, and it's a decision that I have not made kind of lightly, the reason that we are charging is we feel we can get more money for the charity. None of this money goes to myself or MSO or any of the businesses or anything. The money goes directly to the charity. So all your entrance fees, they don't come to me or the company. They go to our charity, which is a local charity called Kids Aid. Great charity. They support young children and kind of slightly older children as well. And what they do is they help them through traumatic times. So they'll give them therapy if their parents have divorced, or they'll give them therapy if they're going through a diagnosis of cancer or anything like that. So they will be the kind of backbone for these kids. So the importance of getting money to this charity is crucial because of the amazing work these guys do. And they're a not-for-profit, they're a charity, so they're not doing it for themselves, they're doing it for that community. So yeah, if you haven't already, get on that link and book it. And it is on, I have to check, it's on the 19th of October we're hosting it. Now we do it on a Friday night because of the drinking side of it. Now a lot of people have come to me and have said, when are you going to do an event that's not drinking? Because I know there are a lot of people out there that want to go to events that are not drinking. So we're looking at doing our Christmas one, which will be the final drinking one of this this kind of season, this area, and then we're going to move on to more ideas. We've got an idea for a chocolate manufacturer. We're just looking. We've got an idea for cars. So we're going to expand a little bit so that people that don't drink don't feel left out. We are looking at other charities we can support as well, because although Kids Aid is absolutely amazing, we've supported them now for a year, so we feel that we need to move on to a different charity to support those. All our charities are local. It's part of what we do. Although I have no issues or any kind of problems with the bigger charities, what we like to do is we like to pick a local charity that we can have a personal interaction with. So there are many charities that we could choose. I know we are on about looking. There's a local school in a slightly difficult area in terms of they're not. It's a bit underprivileged. So we're looking at supporting one of their sports teams, which I think is really helpful. So we'll be doing that, but we'll keep posted. Christmas, we're looking at doing something hopefully with R&M Wines, Rose, and then after Christmas we'll be more looking at what else we can do. We're going to do a Valentine's one, we're going to do a Halloween one. We're going to stick with the traditional kind of themes, but we're going to change from alcohol to other things as well. So yeah, if you've not already booked, book on. It's not just for business leaders, it is for anyone. We're not first, because the amount of support and the amount of the stuff that you'll get out of it is brilliant. The speakers are amazing. You've got Verity from Pro Solutions, as well as Alison from there. You've got Emily Hudson from Professional Introducer Network, PIN, and you've got the great Emerson Patton from Bright Business Advice. So book on. We have got sponsorship ideas, so there are options in there if you want to pay a little bit more and get more. You can bring a banner and stuff like that. Any tickets that are bought for sponsorship, myself will be in touch to kind of discuss the next steps. Links in there. Get booking. Any issues, drop me a message or drop me an email. Find me on LinkedIn, Facebook and Twitter. But yeah, thank you so much. Just check what someone said here. Okay, so the new, I was talking earlier about the Central Vineyard. So the new Central Vineyard in Wellingborough is going to be starting this Sunday at Christopher Hatton School at 10:15. So if you're in the area and you fancy a bit of a religious kind of idea and you want to see what it's all about, please go along and speak to the guys there. I imagine the fact that Steve's message put the comments suggests that he's going to be there. So if anything else, have a chat with him and kind of join our community, join the Central Vineyard community. There's plans for it to grow and grow and grow, but the root of it all is God and Christianity and you as Christians. Again, it's not business, it's not to earn money, it's to support its local community. So yeah, connect with Steve, have a chat with Steve, great guy, or have a chat with some of the other guys that go there, including the other Steve. So yeah, I think that's everything. Just making sure there's nothing else that we missed. Loads of people are joining now. So yeah, just a bit of a roundup. Hi Mim. Bit of a roundup. Great week. Great time at a Christian festival. Great supportive environment. Busy week this week, trying to get all the social media and everything out. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, if you need me at all, just continue to comment on this. And please, please, please share these videos, because the whole point of this community and the whole point of what I'm doing is to get not just myself, but other people talking on live video, because it is an amazing tool. So get these videos shared, and yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye.